All right. Welcome to episode number 59 of Roll or Die. Today, we venture to the top end. One of our first interstate guests, I think. We've had one or two prior, but this is Judo black belt, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, and a very good friend of mine, Karen Payne, also one of the best surnames in Jiu Jitsu. Welcome.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, first question.
Thanks for joining us.
Name yourself just for Jiu-Jitsu and Judo.
I was just born like that. Hey.
Gotta love that.
Awesome. Yeah. So just so you know, Karen, Anton and I have tried to keep most of this podcast. We started it last year, I think just before COVID really hit. And then when COVID hit, I think it was probably a bit of a savior for a lot of people. Well, for us, it probably was as well, to just keep connected with the Jiu-Jitsu community. And we really tried to keep it primarily in Melbourne because I don't know if I speak for Anton, but it was quite difficult to see a lot of the other states that were unlocked training so much Jiu-Jitsu. So, yeah, it was probably not until this year that we would really feel well, personally for myself, that it was something I was happy to see people from overseas or interstate that were just rolling and going about their lives like normal. So, yeah, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Yeah, no, that was a hard time, I know, for a lot of people in Melbourne. That wasn't good.
Yes.
We were very blessed here. I think we were only shut down for about 2 months. That was about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we do these podcasts, I have in the background some, oh man, this has actually gone to something else, not what I wanted to see, but we are state of the art with the technology here, but I did have set up the Darwin Jiu Jitsu Academy that you guys run, you and your partner Dave run. So I was going to have that going in the background that people can see. Instead, it seems to have switched to BJJ Fanatics. So let me just so I don't know why it's done that, but can you tell us a little bit about your school?
So we started Darwin Jiu Jitsu Academy 2016.
Yep.
And we don't do kids. It's all just adults. So we've got about 30, 40 adults.
Yeah.
It's great.
What was the uptake of Jiu-Jitsu like in Darwin? I mean, like we had a guy on the other day who brought Jiu-Jitsu to Turkey, and Darwin's not Turkey. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's a completely removed country, but it is a smaller community. I'd say some things don't make it to Darwin as quickly as they make it to places like Sydney and Melbourne. What was it like? Was it really foreign when you brought it up, when you kind of started? Was it already going like?
So when I started BJJ, so that was back in 2009.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, everyone was a white belt.
Yeah.
We didn't have any colored belts.
Wow.
So the first person to get a blue belt was Des. And then after that, a few of us followed after that. But yeah, when I first started, there was no black belts or anything like that. It was just a bunch of guys trying to make it work.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's very similar actually to what we just had on the podcast.
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of OGs from Melbourne here who started, say, in the 90s or whatever, and they would talk about how they would get a video and watch it and then try and, in someone's garage, try and, figure it out for themselves. Was it a little bit like that, or what was it like, sort of white belts teaching white belts or blue belts teaching white belts? How was that?
Well, look, we didn't know any different, really.
Yeah.
There were some videos going around. I suppose also within that club, we had a blue belt Canadian guy who did a lot of wrestling. So he come later. I think about the time Des got his blue, if I remember correctly. And then we had a couple of brown belts and a black belt in judo as well. So I suppose didn't really know. It wasn't really until we did the Oz Cup in 2011 here in Darwin when I first met you.
That's when I met Karen, yes.
And that's when I was like, oh, wow, there's all this BJJ out there. And, it's the first time I'd ever competed against another chick in BJJ. It was a whole new experience. So,
and what was it like? What was it like for you? Because I'm presuming you were a judo black belt first.
But I only got that 3 years before I got my BJJ one. So I sort of been around the same time.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you started judo first.
Yeah, I started judo first and was doing
When did you start?
Oh, when? Oh, must have been 2005, 2006.
Okay. So yeah, so similar time, just prior. And what brought you to jiu-jitsu then? Like, was it similar, or was it you wanted something else, or what happened there?
Honestly, it was because my son Shane, my eldest son, was a judo national player, and his coaches who were also started the BJJ when he would benefit doing some BJJ, but he was so little, so he didn't have a partner. So I said, well, I'll come and be your partner so you can learn. And then I think he lasted about 2 months, and yeah, I kept going.
Wow.
He's got his blue belt.
That is a cool and new, refreshing entry into BJJ story. That's for sure. We don't hear that very often.
It was interesting. Awesome. Yeah, Shane, wasn't a fan. Now he's a fan. Like 10 years later, he's like, oh, now I want to do BJJ. So he's over in Perth doing it now. But yeah, that's how I actually got started.
Wow. So just a bit of background. I don't know if you know, Anton, back before the Oz Cup or the Nationals used to be just in Melbourne, what they used to do, I think in a way to try and grow jiu-jitsu throughout Australia, they used to hold it in a different city every year. Oh. So for instance, the year that I started, it was in Adelaide, then it was in Perth, and then in 2011 it was in Darwin. So what they did, they sort of, for Darwin, I guess it was considered a really big deal to showcase their city, and they held it on like this convention center on the waterfront, which was just amazing. Like it was such a good, and they had TV coverage, and it was huge.
Wow.
They made it like a really big deal. So I think they did 1 or 2 more around, and then they've since, I don't know, probably the last 8 years or so, it's pretty much been always in Melbourne now. I guess they figure it's not worth the hassle of setting up in a different city every time or whatever. So they just keep it from our point of view, and it's easier for us because it's in Melbourne and it's right here. But it was a really good way to travel and meet people like Karen, and also to grow jiu-jitsu all around Australia. So it was a really nice one.
But I don't think it was too long after that, because that's when I went to the first Girls in Gi camp.
Yeah, and then the Australian Girls in Gi, then she came to Melbourne, and so I went up and visited her and stayed where my boys and I stayed in her granny flat for a week or so. She hosted me so that I could see some of the Darwin and Northern Territory beautiful scenery and experience the weather. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, how is it? I mean, I know you've got nothing to compare it to, but in terms of training jiu-jitsu in a 30 to 35 degree year-round temperature, how is that, especially in the wet season and the humidity? Like, can you tell us about that?
It's a whole different. Like, I know when we go to Melbourne, like, you have to actually warm up. Here,
you have to cool down. You got ice packs on you before you start.
We're really lucky at our club, and they're actually called they're called big ass fans.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's Dave, if you didn't guess, Kim.
Oh, he's in the background.
We'll come and say hello.
Come on.
Yeah, send him around.
Come around, say hi. So we've got big ass fans in our club, but then we also just brought brand new Fuji Superado gis. There he is.
G'day,
hey, Dave. This is Karen's partner. So he and I were teammates, like way back in the day.
I remember your first Oz Cup in WA in Perth.
In Perth, yes, I lost pretty much every fight. That was as a white belt, and then we travelled to Brisbane as well. I think after that.
Brisbane was the very first Oz Cup.
Oh yeah, okay.
Then Perth, and then we went around the country, blah blah blah. But
yeah.
Wow.
That's right. Yes.
So, are you a black belt in judo and BJJ as well, Dave?
Yeah, I got a second degree in judo and a second degree in jiu-jitsu. So
I'm always interested in what happens in a marriage where actually you could be the first marriage that we've had on where you're black belts in more than one martial art. But like in a fight, are takedowns allowed?
The boss at home.
We had Nikki and Anthony Lange. I think you might know them.
Yeah.
As well together. We had them guesting together, and they told us about some of their bedroom jiu-jitsu antics, I think, didn't they? Nikki certainly did.
Dave's walked off.
Dave's left the room.
You lost him. He's like,
For interest,
what happens Insurance stays in the bedroom.
Yeah, it definitely makes for interesting times. And running as well. It's because obviously our personalities are a little bit different.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned to me you were involved in a pretty serious accident at some point, and like I mean, obviously, like we've experienced a lockdown, which sucks. But I imagine that being completely I don't know anything about it. I think Kim said it was pretty amazing. She sent a little snapshot of the article, but if you could tell us a bit about what that is like, I would love to know.
That was bad. It's actually still having the effect now because I'm actually just waiting for a hip replacement as well from that accident. Actually can't physically roll properly at the moment. So with the accident, it was a head-on. We're both doing 80 k's an hour collision. So it smashed my pelvis. It broke my hip in numerous places, not only the ball, but also the cup. So that was broken. I broke my hand, floating bones in my back, and some other bits and pieces. I wasn't allowed to walk for 3 to 4 months. I wasn't allowed to have any weight at all through my right leg. But the worst thing was, the actual worst thing, and even now I hate it, is the day before the accident, I finished off all my paperwork for IBJJF for PAMPAX in 2016 because Dave and I were both going to Worlds after that.
Wow. So you had this trajectory and then you didn't.
Yeah, we had a plan. Like we're both going, I think I told you about that, We're going to Worlds. And it was actually the day before. So I got all my paperwork back signed from Pete, had everything. So final, submitted, everything's in. I think I got my card. I was in hospital for about 4 weeks. The day I think it was like 3 days after I got out from hospital was when PAMPAX was actually on. And obviously Dave took our members from our club down who competed. And that's when I got my card from IBJJF. Yeah.
Spoken like a true jitsera. That's the worst thing that happened. Not that she couldn't walk, not that she was incapacitated, just that she couldn't compete in jiu-jitsu. Like that just tells people how obsessed they get with jiu-jitsu. Like it's it's very, very difficult. So that was 2016. So it's been like close to 5 years now, and you're still. Where are you now? What's happening?
Yeah. So I was supposed to get like a new hip last year, but obviously COVID just threw it all out. So because of the severity of just the whole hip, because they basically said it'd probably take I could need one within 2 years. So I've got to this long, which is pretty good, which really I put down to BJJ anyway and how active and that I was before the accident. And so it's just thrown it out a bit. So now I'll be getting my new hip this year, so then I can get back into proper rehab. And because I just my rotation is just nothing. And then we're going to go back to Worlds.
Wow. That's an inspiring story. You come back from that to rehab and go compete at Worlds. That's what this is about, isn't it, really? Like that sort of mindset. I think often when people get in a really nasty accident like that, 160 k's an hour is that combined speed, and they get written off, a lot of people just give up. But I think that's one of the amazing things about our martial art is you just have to build this resilience from having your ass kicked on the mats over and over and over again. I'm sure there was a part of you already that had that before you started all of this. But I do think that we build a lot of resilience through this training. And
completely.
Yeah. Wow.
It's actually the Worlds. I mean, affected a lot of people too. Like my youngest son, so he's a purple belt in our club as well. Because he wanted to go to Worlds. He was ready to go to Worlds last year too. And so now it's just like, we're just going to do one big Worlds together. We're just going to all go. Worlds Masters, sorry.
Yeah.
Masters.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Anton and I went together, 2018. And we're keen to go back as well once, whenever international travel re-enters. And I want to just come up and visit you again in Darwin. I'd take that at this stage. So, yeah. So,
Where's beautiful.
I know, but it's so expensive unless there's a sale. It's like $700 return or $800 at minimum. So
You can almost fight a World Masters for that money. So.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So how would you say has the jiu-jitsu scene changed since I was up there? I think it was 2013 I was up there last, so 8 years.
Oh, no, huge. We had a Girls in Gi here in Darwin. Oh, when was it? We actually hosted it at our club. And, oh, man, there's like 15 girls. I'm looking around going, oh, my God.
So many girls.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when I first started, we had a couple of girls that come in and out of the club like the few years. And then at our club, we've got about 4 or 5 that are regular. So up to blues.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. But yeah, just how many more women are on the mat and how much more people know about the sport. Like, honestly, when I got told, to take Shane to BJJ to improve his judo, I didn't have any idea either. And now it's just massive. Like in Darwin now, there's 4 or 5 clubs.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty big. Yeah, it's great.
Is your family still involved in judo? Because my experience of judo is it's a really political. We actually had Dan Kelly on yesterday as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're following Dan.
And he's very immersed in the judo game, obviously. But my experience, my understanding of judo from afar is that it's quite political, quite intense. There's all these things going on. It's like being involved in a whole different kind of world compared to jiu-jitsu. Are you still dealing with all of that, or have you?
Yeah, I'm actually the president of our judo club.
Okay, cool.
And I still teach kids judo as well.
Amazing. So I love judo. Like, I want more judo in my life, but the stories I've heard about the competition circuit is pretty intense. Is that true, or is that just rumors?
No, it is intense. And obviously being an Olympic sport, there's a lot more political stuff that goes on. Our club, which is Marara Judo Club, is amazing. Like the people in our club it's like our jiu-jitsu club. It's the same. It's like one big family.
Awesome.
Yeah. Me away. Wonderful people. And which is why, I'm still happy to spend the time and doing what I do in judo and obviously BJJ as well. So
yeah, beautiful.
And yeah, at least all my kids are grown up now. I don't have to worry about that. Thank God. I wouldn't have time.
Yeah, awesome.
You mentioned that when you started that it was pretty much just white belts and blue belts. So like, what is the belts like now? I know that there's been quite a few promotions since I was there. Like, what's the range of belts like up there now?
So obviously we've got Dave's the highest in the territory as a 2nd degree. And then at our club, how many have we got? 7? We've got 7 black belts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and one in Alice as well. So that's just our club. Our club, we've got a lot of browns, purples, blues. So we've got everything. But even the other clubs, like they've got at least 1 or 2 black belts at each club now.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. I don't think there's a club in Darwin with a black belt anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely grown. Yeah. Because when I was up there, I think, was Des running it? I can't even remember. Might have been a purple belt then. Yeah.
Oh, he might have. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Des went away. That was when was that?
2013 or so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he probably would have been. Yeah. We're all sort of around the same time. So everyone that sort of started way back then, we all sort of got graded in and around that same time.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a big fan of the Masters community out there. Would you say that there's a big Masters community up there? Is it predominantly Masters, or is it a young kids game up there? What?
Oh, a lot of Masters. But saying Masters, there's also a lot of guys like in that like early 30s.
Yeah.
But I know just our club, we've got a mix from 18 all the way up to 62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose, and I would probably gauge the average age, what do you reckon, around 38? Probably be like an average age for us, would be about the 38 mark.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm coming up there. I'm coming up for a roll.
Anton's hosting the next monthly Masters up there. He runs this thing once a month in Melbourne, monthly Masters at different clubs. So Yes, watch out.
Bit of
He
that.
might head up your way as well.
Yeah, I should. It sounds like
Always
your club's
will.
pretty much a master's club, so there's no point. But still.
We've got a beautiful mat area, right? And big ass fans, keep you cool.
Big ass
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, and honestly, very hospitable people. Like, it was really great going there. I can't rate highly enough. I think everyone should go up there. As I said, it's a bit annoying how the cost is a bit prohibitive for people. Like, it's actually cheaper when we could travel overseas to go overseas than it is to go up there, or same with Perth sometimes, unless you can get a sale and you're happy to fly the red eye at 1 a.m. or something. It can be a little bit annoying how expensive it is, but once you're up there, it's just bloody beautiful. Everybody should go up and see that part of Australia. I think it's really underrated. So yeah, most definitely.
Everyone, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We're coming into the dry season. It's
Yes.
the time.
Yeah,
Best
that's it. Yeah, it's like 32 degrees or something, 33 all year round. It's just either dry or wet. So yeah. What is it kind of? I think it's like May to October or November is dry or something like that. How's it go? April.
Yeah, 1st of May to the 1st of October is traditional sort of dry season. But then it fluctuates, goes up and down. But it's gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and even when it rains, it only rains for like maybe an hour or 2 hours for the day. It doesn't rain like all day long and all night, or sometimes does.
In the wet it will, yeah. With really big wet, so it will just bucket down. Like, you can't see in front of your car when you're driving for hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just depends.
Just before you finish up, Karen, is there anything you would like to, because I know Kim has to duck out to a meeting.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there anything you'd like to say to people getting into jiu-jitsu, or thinking about quitting jiu-jitsu, or just anything at all? Is there anything you'd like to share and get out there?
Oh, look, everyone, it's just a wonderful, wonderful sport. Like I said, just the friendships I've made. I also put it down to recovering from my accident. So, well, it wasn't quickly, but a lot easier than some people, was the fact I was so active in BJJ. And going back now for hopefully my last lot of surgery to get my life back on track, I know I'm going to have BJJ to sort of help strengthen the areas which I need. So that should, just for everyone, just gives you focus. And yeah, I think the friendships is a big one too, though. The people that you meet. I think I find everyone I've met in BJJ very humble and just generally down to earth, good people, which is wonderful.
Definitely. And which is yourself as well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know what the world will be like. Hopefully we can see each other in person, whether it's me coming up there to visit you, or if you do come down to Pan Pacs this year or whenever. I think it's in October or November. I'm not sure when it is, because Karen and her team come. They send a group down most years.
Right.
Yep. And I think, that's how we've stayed in touch through jiu-jitsu. So it's been great. So thank you so much. We will post this up. It's on Facebook. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all of that. So we'll share it. We're a little bit
going global,
really organised, Anton and I were just saying. So we've actually got like a couple in the bank, but we'll be posting yours up in a couple of weeks. So if you could share it up there, that'd be awesome, because we'd love to grow our audience up into other states as well. So,
and all the best with your surgery, Karen. I hope it works out for you. Back on
Thank you.
Yeah.
Keep in touch. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.